We are live now. Um, so I'm gonna wait for you guys to log in to join us. Today we have a gay fat friend. I am really excited about that because we're going to talk about body positivity. Hello, Jen, Mariana. Again, I would love I would love it if you just go on the plane and invite more people over here. I'm gonna do the same. So let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. I'm just inviting people over, my friends and people I talk to frequently. Um, yes. Um, Yarrow. Let's see. I've got lots of people here that I can invite. Bruno. Avery. Let's invite Avery. This is a cool one. Okay. So I think that's it. Hello. Hello, everyone. Today we have an English Live and we're going to talk about body shaming and body positivity. We have Gay Fat Friend, which is a friend of mine, and he has a wonderful and very successful live account on Instagram. And you'll see what it is about. And we're going to have a great conversation about it, especially us that we don't have the perfect body according to, hey, Todd, you're here now. Just give me a call, or I think I can call you. Let's see. Yeah, here now. Great. I'm really excited. We're going to start this off. Hey, you.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear
Okay,
me
good.
okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm so excited, Todd. So introduce yourself to my community and your community as well.
Well, hi. My name is Todd Masterson, and I'm a comedian and a writer in Los Angeles. And I run an Instagram account called Gay Fat Friend, where I Photoshop my shirtless fat body into thirst trap pictures that I find around the gram.
I know, I just love that. Do you have to follow those guys though?
No,
No, you
um,
don't.
I do now. Like when I first started, the whole thing started as a joke, to kind of make fun of these guys. So when I first started, I just kind of like picked a group of friends that were always together and used their pictures. But then the
Oh,
more that I did it, and the more that I experimented with it, and the more people responded to it, I realized that I had like a really fun body positivity thing happening. And so
yeah.
I kind of spun it to that. And I should say the whole point of the whole thing was that I wanted to be friends with these guys. These guys, have abs and gym memberships, but they never have fat friends. And I always wanted to be their friend. And so I started this project to show them what it would look like if we were friends. And now I'm actually friends with a lot of the guys that I use. So at this point, if I post a picture, I'm friends with that person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now we need you in a real picture with them, right? Not
Yeah.
photoshopped.
Yeah.
Why do you think those guys don't have fat friends?
Um, I think it's because it's really easy to get caught up in that lifestyle of going to the gym every day, and it can be like kind of competitive, like who has the better body and stuff like that. And so I think they get so caught up in that lifestyle that our bodies aren't really in those spaces, so they don't really have the chance to become friends with us. But I will also say that I've learned from doing this that a lot of guys, gay guys especially, that have gym bodies do have fat friends. It's just the ones that are like ultra famous on Instagram that don't, or if they do, they never show them. And so, yeah, that's just like a narrative I really want to change, is because these guys are all really nice and they're really smart, and they're not mean generally. It's just a
Hmm.
handful of them are so outspoken about how they look,
Yeah, I
and
get you.
yeah, and I want to change that so we can be outspoken about how we look too.
So for those who just joined us, this is Todd, and he is Gay Fat Friend, and we're talking about body shaming and body positivity. So, were you bullied when you were a kid, or you were skinny back then?
Oh, no, no, no. I've been fat my whole life, like since
Oh
birth.
yeah,
And I grew up on a farm in Missouri, and I have two older brothers, and they're both like skinny, fit guys, and have been my whole life. So I was like picked on by my older brothers as the little fat brother, and then I went to school, and that's when I started getting, picked on. It was the 1980s and the 90s, so I was picked on like any fat kid is in school back then.
yeah.
Always called fatso. And then when we got a little older, like fourth, fifth, sixth grade, that's when gay wad started. So I was just gay wad fatso for a long time.
Oh, the thing is that people think of like the epitome of gay people, gay guys, is just muscle, skinny, very athletic guys. I mean, it's not like
Yeah,
that. We're all different. There's different colors and shapes, and
yeah,
um, and I think for the young people that are starting to come out, the thing is that they're looking for that, and then they think that's the only kind of beauty there is. But there's a lot of beauty in this world, and mind you, there's a lot of people that don't like muscle guys that like actually chubby guys. And you
yeah,
happen to have a partner, right?
yeah, yeah. My husband, we've been together for 9 years. I'm 6'7" and he's 5'4", so
Oh my God.
he kind of has, which I love. And I mean, he's the first. I call him little man. He's the first little man I ever dated, and I didn't realize how much I like. I just, I like little guys like that. Like I kind of had this preconceived notion that like, well, I'm 6'7", I have to date someone tall or it'll look dumb. Like I was always so worried about how we would look as a couple. And then I met him and he changed my whole world.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, but yeah, we've been together for a long time. I always like to say that there's a lid for every trash can. Like
There you go.
even if you're not attracted to yourself, there are people that are super attracted to you. And you have to kind of start training your mind if that's something you're concerned about. If you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking to hook up with people, you have to realize that people are attracted to you. You are attractive even if in your head you don't think you are.
Did you ever feel unattractive?
Oh yeah. I mean, I still do. That's another
Hmm.
thing. I was like a never nude my whole life. I didn't even take my shirt off at the beach. And now I'm like taking my shirt off every day for thousands of people on Instagram, which blows my mind. So I'm definitely a lot more confident and happy with my body and like comfortable where I am. But I'm still learning every day and like trying to quiet those voices in my head that I'm not attractive, Like I have to tell myself every day, like, no, I'm good looking. I and
Yeah.
and the other thing too, who cares if I'm not good looking? Like we focus too much on looks, I think, in our community, you know? So I'm trying to train my brain to stop caring about what I look like at all.
Okay. Okay. And when you were younger, were you looking for those kind of like fit guys, or you were into more chubby guys back then?
Um, I mean, I definitely had like a brawny man, He-Man kind of
Oh
fascination when I was
wow.
a kid. But
Okay.
then when I think about it, the first love of my life, which is so corny, but the first love of my life was Ricky Schroeder from Silver Spoons. Like I was
Mhm.
just he's maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years older than me. And I was just in love with him. I just remember being in like that feeling of just being like, I love that person, Now he's like a super problematic, crazy Republican, but and I think he's got terrible issues with addiction and stuff. So but yeah, like growing up I was like, oh, Ricky Schroeder, that like blonde, blue-eyed, all-American boy was what I thought was just the bee's knees. And then, like I said, it kind of morphed into like He-Man and the
Yeah,
Brawny Man and
it
the
was
Jolly
like
Green Giant.
the standard of beauty, right, back then,
Yeah.
and still is, and still
Hmm.
is. So, I was wondering, what would you say to those young kids that are straight, gay, bi, trans, that feel that they don't fit into this, let's say, like pattern of beauty or standard of beauty? Like, how can we crack that, that glass? right?
Well, mine, the way I do it is A, we do fit, and B, I force myself into it. Like with my page, like I Photoshop my body into their pictures, and in a way, that's me forcing myself into their space, and that's how you get it done.
Yeah, I get you. I just love the pictures. They're so funny. And
Oh,
whoever is
thanks.
here that has, yeah, whoever is here that haven't, that is not following you, I encourage them to follow you because you have a blast. And actually, I feel like I can fit into that because again, I feel like I have friends and I follow some people that are fit and all, but I have to stop watching them because it's kind of like you start comparing yourself and it's
Yeah,
hard when you start comparing yourself. It's not their fault. It's not, but you have to like stop it once you feel that it's not okay. And there are other people that cannot do it on purpose. Like they go like, oh my God, I'm fat, right?
yeah,
And they're not fat at all. A dad body, and they don't have a dad body. They have an
yeah,
awesome body. So it's kind of like they're looking for validation.
yeah,
And I've told you this before, it's all about validation. Like they just want people to tell them, no, you're not fat, you look amazing.
yeah. And
Uh,
that's that kind of response is addictive. It's addicting. Like when people, and I've kind of noticed it during the pandemic too. So now that we're not going to bars and clubs, now that parties are canceled, or should be, people aren't getting that like daily, weekly dose of real life interaction where people are treating them differently because they're pretty. Like a lot of people don't think about it, but like beautiful people, conventionally beautiful people in our society do have privilege and do get a lot of things that other people don't. Like I've seen it. It's almost like a microaggression. Like I've seen it at Starbucks. Like I remember one time this beautiful guy got a free drink just because the barista thought they were hot. And they get that
mhm.
kind of stuff all the time. So now that the pandemic is happening and they're not in public as much and they're not at bars and clubs getting that like real life instant validation, I've noticed that it's really surged online and they are really clamoring for it because it releases serotonin. They get addicted to that feeling of people constantly liking them.
Yeah, I get you. Well, I can see here, fat guy here, love every pound of me. I just love that. Love every pound of me. Because it's hard. When I was a kid, I was fat and I got bullied a lot. And I was the guy that didn't get any more attention because I was fat, right?
Hmm.
Then I lost a lot of weight. But you always feel like you're fat. Even though
Yeah.
you're skinny, you always feel like you're fat because people have told you you're fat all the time. And then like 3 years ago, I gained weight because I'm on antidepressants. Um, and then it's funny how people make assumptions about you, like you're
Yeah.
fat because you eat a lot, you're fat because you only eat pizza and burgers,
Because you're
or
lazy.
because you're lazy.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's not like that. And there's different reasons why you can be fat or chubby or wherever or
Yeah.
skinny, and that
And
is
that
totally fine.
another narrative I get a lot is unhealthy. And yeah, I do eat junk food and desserts and stuff like that, but like I literally just had blood work done and a heart test, and like I have my cholesterol levels are great, and I have zero plaque buildup around my heart. Like I'm chemically healthy. I'm just
That's what
overweight.
I say. I've never been healthier in my
Yeah,
life because now I have control of my mental health and I'm totally
that's
fine.
great.
I'm heavier now,
I
but
I went on the same kind of journey. So I'll be 40 next month. So when I was 28, so 12 years ago, I started doing the Biggest Loser diet. They put out like a diet book where you could. It was called the 30-day Jumpstart Diet, and it told you exactly what to eat every day for 30 days. So I was like, oh, I can probably do this. Um, and it's only like 1,200 to 1,500 calories a day, which I'm 6'7". Back then I was super active all the
no,
time.
yeah.
That's like it's and the reading the words in the book, it's a lot of affirming negative stereotypes. But at the time I was like, oh, I can do this, and I lost so much weight. And I got really skinny, and I was probably the most unhealthy I've ever been. I was super skinny. I smoked cigarettes constantly.
To
Um,
cope with the lack of food.
yeah, and then so I was really I was what I would consider skinny for myself for a few years, but then even then I was still in my head calling myself fat every day, even though I'm probably 80 pounds heavier now than I was then. Like I've
Oh,
since gained it all back. But then I met my husband, and I quit smoking when I met him, and I also quit working out and dieting when I met him. So like, I got relationship weight, and then now we're in a pandemic, and so yeah, I'm just like the biggest I've ever been. Um, but yeah, I went on that same cycle of like I've experienced big and then weight loss, and everyone praised me, which I'm sure they did to you too. I mean, everyone was like, "You look great. I'm so proud of you. You're doing good work." Meanwhile, I'm like miserable in here,
yeah.
always hungry, and probably if I had stayed on that road of that diet that I did and the way I worked out and starved myself, I probably wouldn't be here right now. Like I'd probably have had a heart attack or something.
I get you. And that's the other side of the story. Like back, if we go 10 years back, I used to go to the gym. I've always been like the gym guy. So I would go to the gym every day since I was 14. And then for different reasons, I just got tired of it. I've been going to the gym for almost 15 years straight. And I got bored about just
Yeah.
lifting weights. I just got bored of it. I've done it for a
Yeah.
long time. So I start comparing myself with these kids that are starting this new trend of going to the gym when I lived that back in the 90s. And that's another thing now that we're getting older. We can't compare different um, uh, path or different stages when it comes to you and another person.
Yeah.
How do you stop comparing yourself to others? Because that's something we do very frequently, and it's not good for your mental health and not good for your own self-love.
I respond well to patterns, so I try to always tell myself to stop compare. Like in my head, I'm always telling myself like, don't compare yourself to that person. Our lives are totally different. Um, like I have to tell myself that I'm in a good place. Like why am I comparing myself to someone like that when I have like an amazing home life, a wonderful husband? I'm happy with where I'm at right now. Like why do I keep comparing myself to other people mainly on looks? Like I'm just comparing myself on looks. So I
Yeah,
like to recognize when I'm doing it and then tell myself to stop. Like I just constantly, as soon as something like that pops up, like I just nip it in the bud in my head and just say like, stop doing this.
yeah.
That's what works for me.
Doesn't it happen that when you look at pictures of your like when you were younger, you say, "Oh, I wasn't that bad. I wasn't looking that bad. Like I actually looked great back then, and I
Yeah.
didn't appreciate it."
Yeah.
So then the here and now is the past of the future. So everybody start loving yourself because you look great. And
Yeah.
then in 10 years, you'll be like, oh my God, I was still young. And
Yeah.
all of the things you say to yourself, like I wasn't that fat either. And it's not an issue. Like being fat is considered as, I just told someone, I saw someone today via WhatsApp, and I told him, "Oh, you look great," and he was like, "Yeah, but I'm fat now because I'm fatter because of the pandemic." And I'm like, "But that has no relationship.
Yeah.
Like one thing is looking great, and another thing is being bigger or heavier, and that has nothing to do with it. But we always connect that, and it's not the way. So I think we have got to start normalizing that." Um, Chubby people or fat people can be beautiful as well and see
Yeah.
the beauty in that, because it's just I've always said this, Todd. We are being forced to look like a Labrador, a dog, and some of us are Chihuahuas or poodles, or like we can't just be one breed, right?
Yeah.
So if you were a dog, I would say you're a bulldog, right? And probably no, because you're tall. So what kind of dog would you be?
Well, we have a pug, and so I'm obsessed with pugs. Like pugs are
There
my
you
favorite
go.
dog.
Yeah, you
So
could
even
be
though they're
one.
small, they're scrappy and loud. So I like to say that I'm a human pug. But yeah, Bulldog's a
I
great
think I
school.
would be like a poodle, and we're being like people like you and I, normal people, not picture perfect people. Um, they are forcing us somehow to look like a lab
Yeah,
if they were born with those genes. I have friends that eat like way more than myself,
yeah,
and they look amazing. So it's just different. And I used to live with my partner for 8 years. He has an amazing body, and I was always comparing myself because he was way older than me, but still, he looked great. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm 20 years younger, and I
yeah,
look like crap. But then again, we lived for 8 years. We used to eat the same thing, uh, but but we wouldn't look the same. So it's not
yeah,
about the things you eat. And I would stop, as I said, I would stop eating some things because I was a gym guy, right? So okay, so it's dairy now. Oh no, I need to cut off alcohol. And then you realize it's none of that. Like I would stop everything. I would cut off everything.
yeah,
I don't drink now, and it's just your body reacting to whatever it is reacting, and it's
yeah.
just like that.
Everybody's different. And another thing I'll say, and this is I, slightly problematic, but a lot of guys that have quote unquote perfect bodies that are just
Hmm.
ripped are miserable to themselves. Like they're also kind of calling themselves fat every day, you know, and they are trying to keep up with their friends and their partners and the people they want to have sex with, and it's always in their head too. Like they, and, in a certain way, people that have like super muscular ripped bodies think more about their body size and stuff than we do, you know, and we already obsess about it because we're always comparing ourselves to them, but they think about it constantly. And so when we compare ourselves to them, like we have to realize like they're just as miserable, you know, like they're pulling them, they're tearing themselves apart to feel a certain way and to look a certain way, and we're thinking that they're happy and perfect and stuff, but they're just as miserable, and they're hungry, you know, like they're
Yeah,
starving themselves.
and
So
they want to eat the ice creams we eat. Like,
yeah, they need just they need just as much help as anyone, and I think it all, you know, just comes down to mental health. We all just need to take care of our mental health.
yeah, it's like that. I have friends that have depression, and they've been prescribed a medication, and they don't take it because they're gonna gain weight. I'm like, I don't care. I'd rather be happy than skinny but miserable,
Yeah,
right? So I went on with my medication because I was in a real bad state, and then I needed to just get better. And if that meant gaining some weight, I was totally okay with it.
yeah, that's how I
Um,
was with smoking too. I was like, you know what, I used cigarettes to curb cravings, and I used cigarettes as like a snack. But they were slowly killing me. And I had to get that out of my life. So I'm happy to have gained a little weight by quitting smoking because at least I'm not like hurting myself with cigarettes anymore, you know?
yeah. And then when you're skinny, like, okay, now what? Like nothing's
Yeah.
changed. You're just your body. And
Yeah.
let me tell you, I don't know about you, and some of the people that are watching this might agree with me, but hot people are not the best sex most of the time.
True. True. I mean, I personally need, you know, a little soft something to
So
hold
yeah,
on
so
to.
meat, right?
Yeah.
I
Otherwise, it's
get
just
you.
like all bones and.
But yeah, probably they're so into their own things because they struggle a lot
Yeah.
that they don't pay attention to the act of sex either. So yeah,
Well,
I
a
I
thing.
encourage
So,
people to try both things and then.
um, a thing that I've always kind of talked about, and this is like career wise too, like you can't, like, once your dreams come true, you can't pay your bills with your dreams coming true. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like, um, once you, like you said, once you get skinny, then you're like, oh wait, I'm here, nothing changed. I have done that too with career. Like when I first started working in television, all I ever wanted to do was work in television, but then I got the job and I was like, oh wait, my dreams came true, but I'm like still sad all the time, you know, like it's a lot to think about. And yeah, you think you can have, it's great to have goals. It's great to like want to look a certain way. If that's what you want to do and you're doing it healthy, like by all means, like work out, lose weight. But just know that like once you get there it might not be what you wanted it to be. You might not feel what you hoped to feel.
Exactly. And since I do work with a lot of people and their mental health and self-love, what I've realized is that it's easier for people to hear what they've got to do instead of they're doing their job. So it's like they're relying on the way they look to see if in the future they are happier. And that when you sum it all up, it's all about you facing your fears and facing your kind of like what's the word, insecurities.
Yeah.
Once you face that, is when you heal that, and you can be totally okay with the way you look and the way you are. So it's not about a surgery. It's not about. It's about the way you feel with yourself, and that needs some self-love practice, and
Yeah.
that's an everyday practice. Now, people might think with your pictures that you're totally okay with your body, that you don't struggle, because I probably thought that in the beginning, like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I want to be him, like I want to feel as comfortable with my own body as he does. But I do think you do struggle sometimes, right? Like you
Oh,
compare
yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah. I mean, I do stand up. Well, I did before the world closed. And
Mhm.
I have a panic disorder. So I still would have like a panic attack before I would step on stage almost every show, like, but I would just push through it. And that's what I'm kind of doing with my body now. Like, I still am very self-conscious about like my arms and my stomach and my
Really?
neck and stuff. But it's almost like a Band-Aid. Like I just rip it off and I just do it, and
Hmm.
then it's really fun, and it's funny, like I love being funny with it,
I bet it's
and
been a therapy for you, your
oh,
Instagram account,
totally,
right?
it totally is, because another thing is, like I said, I've met so many great people, all these people, all these people I never would have met if I hadn't taken my shirt off.
See, and you were scared of it. You were afraid of
Yeah.
taking your shirt off. Like even difficult for me, not anymore as it used to be, but to be shirtless at home, it was
Uh-huh.
a thing for me because I
Yeah.
would be very self-conscious about myself,
Hmm.
even
I
though I don't have to be
It's so
like.
funny. I you know, live in LA, and so people always have pool parties and stuff. And I would always go to those pool parties, but I would be like the fully clothed guy in the corner, like drinking and socializing in the corner, never getting in the pool. And now I'm like finally ready to get in the pool and go to every pool party, and the world is closed, so there are no pool parties anymore. I'm like, oh, no, I finally got here, and I'm finally ready for these parties, and I can't go.
But you'll be able to do it very soon. Don't worry. That is going to happen. Now, what kind of followers do you have now? Are they like fat, or you have a mix of everything? What kind of followers do you have now?
I honestly, I have like a mix of everything, and it's like I was saying earlier, it's really funny. Like, it's surprising how many traditionally fit guys follow me now and support what I'm doing, because like I said, I always thought it was kind of like us versus them,
Yeah,
and I realized doing this that it's just a handful, a handful of like fit guys that kind of exclude us. But the majority of guys that have traditionally, muscular fit bodies are very sweet, welcoming, people. And I've met so many great people of all shapes and sizes doing this. Like, um, I have a bunch of bear followers, which I love. I love being
yeah.
a part of the bear community. And now I have a bunch of muscular gym friends that, you know, normally wouldn't have had, because I would have always thought they were just constantly judging me.
I must say I love the bird community because they look so sexy and hot, and they look so like secure about themselves. Like, I want to be like them. It's just because no matter how they like, if they're a little bit like chubby and hairy, because hair is in trend now, but it wasn't 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So they're hairy, they're fat, and they're bold, and they still look good. They still look
No.
sexy. So it's a really nice community, um, and they look hot. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Um, the other thing I was going to say is the word fat. I've definitely, like, my whole life, fat has
I
been
was
a
gonna
bad
talk about
word.
that.
Even like And I think for a lot of gay people, just hearing the word fat almost feels like a cuss word, you know, at a certain point. And so I'm trying to like take that back. I talked about this a little bit in my Instagram stories, but my Instagram account has been flagged by Instagram as bullying because I use
Really?
the word fat so much.
Oh my
And
God.
so like my hashtags and stuff are blocked on Instagram because they think I like the algorithms or whatever, I don't know, but they think I'm bullying people by saying fat so much. And that's a narrative I want to change because I like being fat. I think fat is sexy and fat is funny and fun. So just as much as anybody, like any other kind of body type, you know? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
like,
it's just what I'm trying. I think what we're trying to say here is not that one is better than the other one. It's just like
yeah,
we all fit into this world, and there are different flavors and shapes and colors for everyone.
yeah,
But it's not just one, and it's not just one standard of beauty. And that's the thing. We think we need to look beautiful is because we need to lose weight. And when we lose weight, we get praised up because of that. Like, oh my God, you look great. You're doing a great job. Whereas when you're gaining weight, people are worried about you.
yeah,
Like, what is she doing? What's going on with you? Why? Like,
yeah.
there's something off, right?
Something has to be wrong.
Something has to be, and it's not like that. As I told you, when I was gaining weight, it's because I was feeling better. So I was getting my mental health back.
Yeah.
Um, so, who came up with the idea of gay fat friend? Because that's very blunt. That's very to the point. Like, fat is a strong word.
Yeah.
Gay is still a strong word for some people, right?
Well, I originally came up with like the fat friend idea uh, a long time ago. And I kind of, I see all these guys in West Hollywood. And I wanted to like photobomb their pictures, and so I wanted to see if I could like end up on their Instagram page as the fat friend, but not really the friend kind of thing, you know. And then I realized I was like, wait, I can just like Photoshop myself in and change it to that. And I originally did it as just a joke on like my Facebook page and my Instagram. I posted I think like 6 pictures at once, just kind of as like a little joke, and it really took off. And my friend Lucas was like, "You need to start your own page for this." And I was like, "It's it's just a joke. It feels like when people start a page for their dog, you know." Like I was like, "I don't want to be one of those
Uh-huh.
guys." And he was like, "No, no, no. I think people would really respond to this." And so I started the Instagram page, and I wanted to be Fat Gay Friend, but I think that was taken. So,
Hmm.
so I came up with Gay Fat Friend, which rolls off the tongue easier anyway. It sounds better. But I forgot what I named it, so I was telling everyone that it's Fat Gay Friend. So,
Oh God.
and then so I would occasionally do a couple, pictures here and there. This was this was all in October. That's when I started it, and
Back in October.
yeah, I started in October.
Oh wow, not even a year, and you're so
No,
popular.
and I just had like a handful of pictures, and I was maybe posting once a week, and then like mid-November, I think it was like the week of Thanksgiving. My friend Elliot reposted it, and it just kind of took off from there and got really big, and then I was like, well, I guess I don't have anything else to do right now. I should do it every day, huh? And a lot of my friends were like, yeah, just start posting every day. And so now it's been every day since
Right.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, you're doing a great job, and I think I
Thank
can
you.
speak for a lot of guys that don't feel well about and women that don't feel well about their bodies.
Yeah,
Now we can actually identify with you and say, "Hey, this is fun," and then it makes you realize that not everything that you see on Instagram is real,
yeah.
and um,
And,
and there's a
and
lot of showing
a
off.
lot of people will be like, oh, like lesbians will be like, oh, I should start lesbian fat friend, or I should start, black fat or uh, gay black friend and all this
Hmm.
stuff. And I'm like, yes, please do it. Like I obviously I don't own this idea. Like I think everyone should start their own page and insert themselves into places that they want to be because it's so much fun. And I would love to see those pages. I
Todd, are you
can't do them.
taking? Are you?
Someone was like, "Oh my God, you should start gay black friend," and I was like, "I'm not black. That's
Yeah,
someone
that's
else's
kind of
journey.
weird.
Like
Yeah,
someone else
exactly.
needs to do that, And I want to see that. I want someone else to do it. So like, please, anyone.
I can do Latino. There you
Yeah, there
go.
you go.
Now, are you taking this into your stand-up comedy shows now?
I was like I was in like December and January when it was really blowing up. I was incorporating it more into my stand-up, but then uh, stand-up kind of started to die off in February before like
Yeah.
everything closed because like everyone was talking about Corona, but it wasn't like nothing was shut down yet. But live shows kind of started dying down in February, and then comedy was pretty much over like the first week of March. Everybody was kind of canceling shows out of solidarity and being like, oh, you know, we're not going to perform right now because no one's coming because everybody's afraid they're going to get sick. And then mid-March, the whole world closed. So I never really got a chance to like fully develop it into my stand-up act, but I was talking about it. And it was going
And
over really well. It was fun.
great. So where and when do you think we can see you on stage now?
I honestly, it's looking now that stand-up won't be back, at least in California.
Hmm.
Stand-up won't be back until next year.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
and people are doing live show, like internet shows. People are doing a lot of Zoom shows, but I can't do.
It's
I
hard.
just know I can't do stand-up without an audience in front of me, you know,
Yeah,
and
it's
without a
difficult.
microphone and on a stage. Like, it's just not. It's just not how I work. And I think it's great, you know, for the comedians that do those shows. 100% keep going. I love you guys, but for me, and I keep getting asked to do those shows, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't do
Hmm.
it. It's just personally just so cringe. Like if I'm like standing in my living room doing stand up, it just feels so fake and weird, and I just can't do it.
Yeah, and I think like live stand-up comedy flows with the laughs of the people, like the
Yeah.
audience, and like that's the way it is. It's not just a one-way thing, right?
Yeah. And a lot of these Zoom shows, like you can leave your microphone unmuted and people can hear you laughing, but then people take advantage of that. And I've heard a lot of Zoom shows are getting crashed by like hecklers, and people are like heckling an internet show, and like that's just too cringy for me. I just can't do it.
Um, you should come to Toronto and have a
I want
stand-up
to come to
comedy show
Canada
here.
so bad. I want to
Yeah,
come so bad.
let's plan it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I think it'd be so fun. But I think I'm technically banned right now because I'm an American. So,
Yeah, you
which
are.
I
We
don't
have to
blame
wait till the
anyone.
borders.
I don't
I
blame anyone.
know. I know. It's been bad for you guys. I
Yeah.
hope everything goes back to a healthy state very soon because it's been bad for you guys. And
Yeah.
you're banned everywhere
Yeah.
except for South
And
America or something.
I mean, I live in LA and they're saying like our mayor, so California is pretty much closed again. Our
Mhm.
governor just closed everything yesterday. And then our mayor today is saying that like he's probably going to shut everything down again, like full lockdown, like we were in March. So
Like phase one, back to
yeah,
phase one. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So
Well, Todd, you know what? This was a great chat. And is there like a final message you would like to share with your audience and my audience when it comes to body shaming and body positivity?
I I know it's just really kind of it's almost cliche at this point, but just love yourself. You know, like you are great. And people love you so much, no matter what you look like. Just you have to constantly tell yourself, like, I'm okay. This is good. You know, like how I live my life is all right. So just, yeah, don't beat yourself up and just have fun.
And people like them chubby too. People like some meat.
Yeah,
Trust me.
exactly. There's a lid for every trash can.
There you go. There's a lid for every trash. Thank you, Todd, again
Thank
for
you so much for
accepting
having
my
me.
invitation. No, no, anytime, and it was great. I like my idea here was to share some positivity with the audience and to make them feel like they're not alone because some people think they're alone.
Yeah.
Um, and I
And
see.
if you and to anyone watching, if you ever do feel alone, DM me because I have nothing to do. Gay Fat Friend is my job now. So DM me and we can totally chat.
Yeah, follow Todd. He's amazing. And thank you, Todd, for all of those pictures. They make me feel happy
Oh
somehow.
yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Well, take care. Keep in touch. And thank you guys for being here with us. This will be on my Instagram, my IGTV, in case you want to share it with your
Oh,
friends as
awesome.
well.
All right.
Okay?
Have a good night.
Mwah, kiss, kiss. Bye.
Bye.